All right, so bear with me for a second, folks. We getting ready to get into a interview with a good friend of the program. I just want to do a very quick sound check and make sure that my guest can be heard. Mike, man, count to five for me.
One, two, three, four, five.
All right, all right. Let me shut this down real quick, and we'll jump into this. There we go. All right. Thanks for pressing play on a pay me no mind sports and entertainment video. Uh, Man, I'm glad to get on here and rock for a minute. Um, I'm gonna introduce my guest, man. This is kind of informal. I didn't even write out any interview questions. Didn't do a whole lot of research and whatnot. We just getting ready to chop it up. But I want to bring in my guest for today's live stream, Michael the Silverback Moore out of Cleveland, Ohio. What's good, boss?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Thanks for hollering at me. Sometimes, man, I hate to shake the same trees, and try to get people on, but I did. I'm overdue for circling back to you and checking in with you to see what's going on. But like we were just talking about before we're offline, you know, the schedule is bare right now. So, but anyway, let me back it up though, man. You were last in the ring. Actually, let me go back even farther than that. Let me go back farther than that because I don't think we had a chance to chop it up after you came home from the contender situation.
No, I don't think we have.
Right, right. So, man, help me out, man. What happened in the? Because you made it to the semifinals, didn't you?
Yeah.
So I don't remember all of the details, but I think you fought Eric Walker Sr., who went on to win the whole thing. Did he? No, he didn't win. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm messing
No,
up.
no.
Adams won the whole
Uh,
thing.
correct.
But what happened with you in the in the last fight with Eric, man? Because I didn't feel like I was really watching Michael Moore that I know. I
A lot of people say that Eric, man, I'm gonna just be honest, and everything. Eric Walker is Eric Walker, man. He punching, he a value fighter. And I knew that was a possibility. I went in there with a torn bicep tendon in my left arm, and I knew it. I was advised not to fight. I was advised not to fight. I should have never made it past the first round. Like after the first round, I had a torn bicep tendon, so I fought every other fight with a torn bicep tendon. But it wasn't an excuse for my loss. You get what I'm saying? Because I went in there just like everybody else. But I just didn't have enough in me for him. Like I feel like I won the fight with Shane. I feel like I did enough to get the victory. He had some great moments in the fight, as did I. But I felt like I landed the more solid shot. I fought. I pressed the issue with Shane, and I feel like I won that fight, which means I should have never fought Eric Walker. I should have been fighting Brandon Adams in the finale. But I'm not gonna cry with spilled milk there. I had a torn bicep tendon, and Eric was just moving too much, and with that injury, I didn't have enough in the tank to beat him.
I mean, fair enough. I knew as much, but and I knew that you had been dealing with the injury as you were going through that and whatnot. So I just wanted you to be able to clear the air. And you went through it like a man, and Eric Walker does what he does. So it ended up, all of you guys represented, yourselves like real men on the show. So I tip my cap to all of you guys.
Thank you.
But
I worked
like
hard for it.
being here in Ohio, though, I was rooting for my Ohio guy.
Man, listen. You know what? I just hope that I ain't make y'all. I didn't let the people down. I hope I represented well. I showed that we tough as nails, man. Where I come from, we gritty. Like like I say, I take my wins the same way I take my loss. I take my loss the same way I take my win, gracefully. I went in there. If I'd have beat Eric Walker with that one arm, I'd have been walking around. Oh, I beat him with one arm. I beat Gerald Sherrill with one arm. You know, so if I'd have walked around and I beat Shane with one arm, I beat Eric Walker with one arm, or if I'd have had to fight Brandon Adams and beat him, I beat him with one arm. I got to take that same energy and apply it to that loss. Like, it is what it is. I got my arm fixed. I came back and I fought for one of them ABF titles, the USA ABF title. I stopped Alexis in the second round, which I knew I was going to do that. And I'm climbing back. It's just the economy right now. No boxing right now. So as a fighter, and that being my profession or my career, I'm looking like it's in danger.
Right, right. So, and we'll get to that in just a second. Let's touch base on the fight up in Warren real quick. Warren, Michigan, with I believe that was second to none promotions and whatnot. What was that experience like? And how do you like fighting? In this region.
Man, originally early in my career, that's where most of my I was managed by a guy out of Michigan named Ed Fort, and he had Les Rumble, and I fought up there quite a few times, and that's how I really met Kenny, through a guy named Ruben Williams, boxer from up there. But I love it, man. It's like a second home, man. I got family in Detroit. I spent a lot of time in Detroit back then, and I supposed to fight Alexis a long time ago for the WBC USNBC title. He took when he was supposed to fight in Connecticut, he tested positive for something. He asked him before the fight, do they drug test? So they drug tested him before the fight. They canceled that fight. I fought, but it wasn't for that WBC USNBC title. So that was the main reason why I wanted Alexis. I seen him back then when I was coming up, and I felt like I could beat him, but they didn't give me the shot then. So and then it's another guy in Detroit that I want. I don't know why Gerald Cunningham. I wanted him too. Somebody's supposed to be making that fight happen right now, so I'm not gonna speak too fast. But I'm gonna knock him out the first chance I get. But I love it, man. I mean, it's a good feeling to fight close to home, man. I had some of my people. That's a short drive from Cleveland. 2.5 hours for my people to drive out of Cleveland to Detroit.
How did it feel? How did it feel being up at light heavyweight?
You know what? It was kind of disappointing to me, man. Because we were scheduled to fight at 160. I knew that he wouldn't make. I had got word that he wouldn't make the weight, and I wanted to fight him, man. They was like, well, they were gonna cancel that fight. So I called my manager. I called my management team and asked them, can we do it at 70? I mean at 68. And I got word that he wasn't gonna make the 68 mark. So I told him, all right, well, I'll be 70 when we get there. So when I got there, I weighed in with some jean shorts and some jean shorts and some jeans and drank a Gatorade before I got on the scale. So I could come in at 70, and he came in at like 78 or something like that, almost like 180 almost. But it was cool, man. I mean, I knew if he was that heavy that he wouldn't be in the best of shape. I was just coming from camp. I've been training out in California for the past year, so I knew that I was ready. I spar guys that big, so it shouldn't be a real problem to fight guys that big. Like, I don't plan on campaigning there, but I wanted that title, and I was just like, I'll do whatever it took to get it. I was just one of the type of guys. I'll fight anybody.
All right. How was your relationship in working with the ABF? I know you're there for the week and whatnot, or at least 3 or 4 days. Did you have any interaction with that outfit? I actually, I think I sat by I told you a couple months ago, I sat by the vice president. I can't remember her name something Burke.
Claire?
Yeah, Claire.
Burke.
But she was.
That's actually who I went to about fighting for this title, man. She did everything in her power to make sure that uh, it went down smoothly for me and for him too. Not like as pulling strings, but just searching for titles to make sure we could fight for him, making sure that everything was fair. She stayed in touch with me if something wasn't going right. She made sure that that fight that I wanted so bad, she was doing it. She was willing to do anything to make sure that that fight went on, especially for that title, man. It's like they great. They call, she calls and checks on you, check on me, you know, asking me, do I have any other titles I want in mind? Not just for the ABF, but for any sanctioning body. And she's willing to use her connections or whatever they can do to get you the titles that you want. So I think that's pretty crazy that that sanctioning body will try to get you title fights in another sanctioning body, and she with it. So I like it, man. Like Claire Burke, she got a knack. She got a real knack for boxing, man, and making a fighter feel comfortable.
Yeah, like I said, I sat by her and for a fight over in Indiana back in early February, and her passion towards her job and her commitment to being on top of her job and looking out for fighters' safety and whatnot. I thought all of that was admirable.
Yeah, it was nice, man. Like I said, she called and checked on that. I texted her the other day just to make sure she was okay because I haven't heard from her in about a week or two, and she was okay, you know, healthy. So everything's going good. Like that's a good. I think all fighters should, like if it's early in your career or before you go for the bigger titles, you know, go after one of them ABF titles, man. That's a good family over there.
Okay. I was just wondering, man. I hate to bring up the Wilder fight specifically, but in the wake of that fight, we got into all of the different glove controversy thing. I know you checked in with me on the live stream I did one morning, just talking about the whole controversy with the gloves, but just fighter safety in general. A couple of people commented on my videos on my YouTube channel and called me names and whatnot. And I really didn't pay it a whole lot of attention because I know it's not like nothing never happens. I wouldn't be that naive to think that, but a lot of stuff is in a lot of protocol is in place to avoid just obvious silly flagrant stuff happening.
Right.
So I guess with that said, I'm just saying, have you been satisfied kind of with with fighter safety in the events that you've been able to take place or participate in?
For me, I haven't. You know what? I think that was a big drop of the ball if it actually played out the way they did, because you got to look at what happened. I've watched every fight that I've been in, and I paid attention. I never really paid attention to it, and why those officials grab your gloves and squeeze them like that. So if that ref didn't make sure that his hands was in those gloves correctly, that was a big drop in the ball. And I think he should be penalized for that or even sued, man, because you got to think about it. Imagine Deontay Wilder couldn't fight again. You know, everything he's going to lose out on. You know, the commission, everybody, the state commission and everybody should be in trouble for that, because that man could have lost his life or anything. And due to the fact that was cheating, like what would make you just do? I never ever thought of doing that. Like for me, if I got injured in the ring or I got hurt, the refs pretty much handled it. But to that extent, somebody not putting their hand at the bottom of them gloves ain't nothing but leather, man. Ain't no cushion down there. So that's basically knuckle to knuckle, man. That was bad. Like I didn't pay attention to it that night until I rewatched after somebody pointed it out. And you look how far back his hands was bending, like the glove was bending. I'm like, damn, that was like he had to been striking Deontay Wilder hard. And I think he did it because the way Deontay Wilder hit him in the first fight, like it was crazy. But I think if I'm still gonna bet with Deontay Wilder in the third fight. If the third fight go on, I didn't bet against him in the second fight, and I won't bet. I'm not gonna bet against him in the third one either. I just think that they got the commission that they fighting. I don't know if it'll be in Vegas or if it'll be in California, wherever. I think they need to honestly do a thorough check and let Tyson Fury know like this. They won't take none of that crap, man. That was a bunch of bull. And Deontay Wilder, he's a good man. Cause that'd have been me. I definitely. It won't be no fight, no ring. We'll be fighting outside that month.
Right, and that's kind of where I am. I didn't have the information to take, such a solid stance one way or the other, and I just kind of left it in the hands. Like if something went wrong, I would hope that Deontay Wilder and his team would pursue. I mean, like you said, you could take it outside of the ring if that happened, or go back and do some kind of formal appeal and get it investigated, and then definitely, definitely going into a third fight to make sure that all of these, everything is up and up, is on the up and up. If there is the trilogy fight.
Man, you know what? Speaking on that, man, I know Jaden personally, man. Like, I know Jaden Hill. And if that happened, it would be so hard in my mind to believe that he was the one that put them gloves on. Most of the time, your trainer puts your gloves on.
Right.
So, like, Jaden, like, you can never tarnish your uncle. You taking over what your uncle built, man. Like, Emmanuel put Jaden in that position. Emmanuel Stewart. That's by far the greatest trainer of all time to me. Like, that would tarnish that legacy so bad that you would, like, that's your watch. You was 2 seconds, man. Like, where were you at when this happened? I'm thinking of that now. Us sitting there holding. Nobody looked at the trainers or who put his gloves on. Who helped him do that? You can't do that yourself. You can tie that shit up yourself.
Now you I'm assuming that you do some spar. You've had the opportunity in the past to do some sparring in Detroit, correct?
Yes.
Premier Boxing Champions youngster Joey Spencer, he came out and mentioned that he was familiar with this practice because throughout the years, fighting against or sparring against a lot of Detroit guys, he was like, this is commonplace. It's a tactic that they practice down there, and he said that that's happened to him before in sparring and whatnot, and in his amateur days. So, do you think that you've encountered that situation, in any of the gyms or any of the work that you've gotten in Detroit?
I myself haven't. I don't think I've encountered that. Sparring in Emmanuel's gym, which Javen, to me, I believe that Javen was murdered. I've never ran into that. I don't think Emmanuel would sit back for something like that. And then I also sparred at a downtown boxing gym and a few other gyms. Everybody pretty much take it seriously, man. And they were straight up guys, man. So like Detroit, we deal with it was good to me, man. I have nothing negative to say about Detroit or boxing, Michigan in general. So for that to happen, I don't think I want to say Javen's not the one to put those gloves on. Jaden Hill, Sugar Hill. I have to believe that he didn't do that because he's not that type of guy. Not that I don't know of. I don't know him to be that type of person. So for that to happen, I'm sitting back and all I can do is scratch my head and think like, who put this man gloves on? That's got to be some shit from overseas or something, man. Nobody's just putting that together like that.
Got you. So let's get up to it, man. You hit me up and made a comment with regards to the current situation and the work stoppage, and we talked a little bit about some of this offline. But have you heard anything or seen any boxers that aren't speaking on this situation in a legit manner, in your opinion, or kind of what's going on right now?
Right now, boxing is completely on hold. You got you have a lot of the smaller promoters There's not the victims. Uh, they're stating that they're throwing cards in June and July. Now, I believe that July and June may be up for grabs, but nothing real soon. And then there's going to also be the fact that you have to think that these fighters have to train. Like me, I have everything I need in my basement, so I'm doing some work. But nothing's like going to the gym. Nothing's like being in camp. We won't see any big fights to the end of the year because some fighters need 6 months. So unless you just have a set gym and you open the gym straight to yourself, it's nothing going. It's nothing big that's going to happen. Like for me, it's ugly for me because I'm in Cleveland. There's nobody opening up a gym and letting me go in there myself and quarantine me and the coach. And we go in there and we get I get to use the ring, the bags, the heavy bags, the speed bags, everything. I got a heavy bag and a speed bag in my basement, but nothing's like having that gym feeling. Like it's different. So I don't think we're gonna see any big fights. I got offered a fight in June, which it's supposed to be it's supposed to be televised, but no audience. Will that go on? I have no idea. Do I want it to go on? Of course. So I'm hoping that we can get that. If so, but as of right now, there's no money being made. Man. There's a lot of fighters out right now that I know that's in bad positions because they're looking for that next fight to feed their family, and we out of work. So it's like, can we apply for unemployment too? Shit.
Right. So I do. You mentioned that before we got on, and I did want to touch on that real quickly. I don't want to try to speak for the source, but I'm gonna send you. You can watch the video that I just posted earlier today on my YouTube channel, or I can text you some information. But there is a supposedly from a very credible source, there is a way for you guys independent contractors to get $10,000. Uh, so I'm not even really gonna go in. I'm really not gonna go into it. But there's a podcast out there by a guy who's been a lawyer for a lot of top fighters over the last 2 decades. I want to say he has a podcast. I think it's kind of sponsored by Ring Magazine. Like I said, the guy is very legit. The panel of hosts that he had, or the panel of guests that he has on the podcast, are all guys who have some experience with the boxing industry, and the information sounds legit. But it's something called the a disaster relief loan that if you can apply as a small business, you can apply for this loan. But just while you apply for it, there's this like $10,000 grant that can be received within 21 days, regardless of you qualify for the loan or not. This grant is out there and it's $10,000. So, like I said, I'll send you some information on that you can follow up on. But there is a way for you guys to receive, to pursue at least that benefit right there.
I really appreciate that. I mean, I'm not just in the worst position, but I mean anything. It may not be for me. I may not need it, but it's a lot of fighters, especially fighters here in Cleveland, that had fights scheduled. A lot of it was shows that were set to go down here in Cleveland that are no longer going on. And like me myself, I'm in boxing and I'm transitioning. As far as like every time I fight, I'm investing my money. Right now, I got a gaming lounge that I'm supposed to be opening, but with no fights coming up, the capital is not there, so I have to fight to get these businesses open. We got the daycare going. That put me in position to where I'm not hurting right now.
Okay.
But when you spending your savings or all the money that you packed up for times like this, you start to deplete that. Who's to say how long this will go on? So, and I myself have been out the house quite a few times, and I myself still have yet to meet anybody who been caught the coronavirus. Not to say that it's not true, so don't take me for saying that. What I'm saying is, I'm not sure the government is doing the best or handle it the best way possible. I don't think that Trump did his job, and knowing that over in China they were fighting this disease, and he never suspended international travel. He waited too late, so he might have let 5 or 6 people over here with that disease. But if it's spreading that bad, look what it did. It crippled the economy. Them taking out $2 trillion when who's to say how much money this country got? Talking about this stimulus pack. You're giving out $1,200 per adult, and they're gonna go and buy some TV. That's not gonna stimulate the economy. That's gonna stimulate Best Buy or Walmart or something. But mom and pop stores in the city, that's not gonna do what they think it's gonna do. We're gonna be hurt, man. So it's like a lot of people don't see the big picture. I think that the government wanted to play with the stock market and a few other things, and they allowed it to get like this. So I believe that the people that are getting hurt are what you call it, like when you're in the way, you get hurt, and it wasn't intended for you, but they didn't care.
Oh, like collateral damage.
Yeah, we just collateral damage, man. You know, I mean, they went. If we get hurt, we lose somebody, it's okay to them. You know, as long as it ain't them. Everybody running around, no, it's not coronavirus, it's the 5G towers. If they throwing up 5G towers and these 5G towers giving up that much radiation and killing, it's gonna kill folks off. It's gonna kill them too. So people gotta pay attention to that. You think they gonna put some shit up there, commit suicide, and they're trying to make money? I'm just looking at everything, and as you sit in the house, you have nothing but time on your hands. A lot of people taking this time right now instead of using this family time or build a plan to make some money when this economy open back up. I done got into the stocks. You know, I'm playing with the stocks a little bit. I'm doing so much different stuff. Nobody's using this time for something constructive. You know, I'm
Right.
thinking of fighters who want to fight. You know, trying to map out the rest of my career. You know, I got like another 2.5, 3 years left in this boxing, and I'm about to go ahead and just map it out so I can go ahead and get ready to transition and walk away from it.
So let me ask you a question because I've talked to a couple different guys at a couple different stages of their career and whatnot. Has I don't know if you have a manager. I don't know who's representing you on a promotional way right now. But have anybody that any of your business partners, have they been in contact with you to discuss anything? And I'm asking because with the major sports leagues, the NBA, Major League Baseball, NFL, there's a front office, there's team owners, there's GMs and presidents. It's a lot of people involved who are fighting or just working, daily to figure out how the sport will resume, when it will resume, and kind of staying up to speed on what the changes are. So it's people helping things go along. But like you said, who's gonna be in contact with all of these fighters, and giving and providing some guidance and leadership that, like you said, will allow fighters to stay focused, and when things do resume, that in a reasonable amount of time, a fighter could say, well, look, I just need 4 or 6 weeks of some sparring, and depending on what the risk is or what the opponent is, this makes sense. Like, is there anybody that you're able to consult for sound advice?
I got myself. I'm represented by Split Key Management.
Oh,
Right
okay,
now.
okay.
So, I mean, I've gotten. They sent out like emails and stuff. And anybody knows Split Key. It's a lot of fighters on that roster. So that's the gripe to that. But me myself, I reach out to Dave whenever I feel like I need answers, and he's been pretty steady lately on giving me flat out. Nobody really knows when boxing is going to open back up. The country is. It's like some of these promoters must have knew this was coming, because I heard that Bob Arum was cutting back on his guys, and and the zone was letting guys go, or they were cutting back, you know. So it's like if they seen us coming. But for myself, I just sit back and I just pick my phone up and call them. You know, I'm not mad that they don't call, because you got to look at everything on their plate, man. I'm not gonna say boxing is the only thing that the owner of Split T does. You know, I know he had to make his money somewhere before he got into boxing, and I'm not gonna say that he just abandoned that. So I know it's more on his plate. So I'm not gonna be insensitive and care about, like, he may be going through it too. But if I start to feel like I need to know something, I shoot him a text or an email, and he gets back with me. You know, he told me, it's first, like, as soon as this blows over, you know, he's on his team and making sure that we all fight. You know what I'm saying? But like I told him, I'm looking for the big fight. You know, I felt I paid my dues. I've been in the game for a while, so I know some new fighters that he got on the roster, but he got to be looking to move me first. I think that I deserve to fight as soon as possible. As soon as this is over with, I'm not just gonna ring his line, but I'm gonna start looking at these promoters too, hitting their line. You know, I know your guy wants to fight just as much as I want to fight, so let's put a fight on. You know, I know I believe boxing is gonna everything's gonna go to a different level once this is over with, because this is the first time in my lifetime, my 33 years on earth, that this has happened. You know, I got one grandparent left, so I can go to my grandmother and ask her what happened. This this flu virus crippled their company before. Uh, that's why I stay into my history books and I look it up. This happened before, but it was in her lifetime. You know, back in the, like, 40s or something, 1942, I believe. And they had the economy come out better. Yeah, think about it. I invested a lot of money into the airline, cruise line, everything that's going on right now. I believe it's going to come back. People tired of sitting in the house, so they're going to come out. Once they get out, everybody out, they're going to fly. They're going to get back in the cruise line.
Hey, Mike, you breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah. Go back to that.
Like I said,
You
I
said
invested a lot.
go back to you. You said something about 1942 or something. From there, what were you saying?
Yeah, this happened. This happened in 1942, I believe. I have to look, double check it again, but it was a flu pandemic, and they had to quarantine, and the country basically shut down and stopped moving and stuff. So I have to go and ask her, how was the economy when this happened before? For myself, I believe that once this is over with, everything's going to not just go back to normal, but it could be better for the people who pay attention. Like me, I went and invested my money into the airlines and the cruise lines, and I got some stock in the casinos.
Oh,
So
okay.
everything that's shut down now, and when the stock prices went down, I loaded up, and I believe, like, I did that for a reason, because it's cheap now to get into it, but nobody's flying. Nobody's in the casinos or on the cruise ships right now. But once that goes back, they're gonna make money, and I'm gonna make money. So that's what I did. I got smart and did that. I tell all my friends, hey, get you some stock. So I'm just preparing myself, man. I believe that boxing will be back, and it'll be bigger, because everybody. It's a lot of people missing boxing. There's a lot of people missing the NFL, the NBA. Everything's on hold. The country's on hold, man. All we watching reruns. I'm watching old boxing. I'm watching old Trinidad fights. You get what I'm saying? So I think that once the country open back up, everything will be all right.
Now, ironically or incidentally, this was I believe this past weekend or Friday night actually would have been the first card that Split T was like acting as the promoter of for the Conwell fight on Showtime.
Right. But I think they're gonna probably. I didn't speak to them about it, but it would make all the sense in the world is if they push it back and still try it, I don't see why they wouldn't still, try to make that happen. It'll be a big bummer if they don't. I know he wants that fight. I know he still wants them to make sure that fight goes on. So I just sit back and I'm just waiting and I'm playing my position. I'm, I'm definitely gonna step to him soon as we get the opportunity, soon as it opens. And not to take anything from Cromwell or any other fighters, but I've been on it with you guys. I pay for my own camp. I fly out to California, and I go through camp and put my body through that rigorous training. The least you can do is make sure that you give me a fight to where I can prove myself and show that I belong amongst the elite fighters.
Now, you said you've already lost out on one fight date. Is that what you said before we got on?
Yes. Uh, we were looking to fight in June uh, here in Cleveland.
Okay.
That that fight is just that ship is still. I know it might have been May. I think that was a May fight. It's a promoter that's been pretty busy around here, around Cleveland, and he was throwing the card, but that's canceled now. I reached out to him and I asked him, do he know when he was gonna push it back to? He said he don't know because he don't know when it's gonna open back up, which I could understand that. I was hoping he would have a date in mind and be like, I will push it back to here because even if he just said, oh well, August, I believe we'll be open by the end of next month. But if he would have said August, that would have gave me some. I'd have felt better. But call a spade, and it is what it is.
So when you come out, I mean, so and what I was asking, for your managers and whatnot, will like you said, will these individuals be reaching out to you guys, giving you a heads up, like when to maybe start picking up training as best you can? But I guess for you individually though, kind of can you walk me through what you would factor in taking a fight? Is it going to be sparring opportunities? Would you need to get back out to LA? Would it be a weight thing? And you just picked up that title at light heavyweight. Will you be going back down to middleweight?
All of that will factor in. Like me, they know the reason why I took that fight at that weight. So I'm going to make sure that they understand that that's not what I'm looking to fight at. That weight is not what I'm looking to fight at. But them being my manager, and this is going to be the time where they really have to earn their percentage. You know what I'm saying? For me myself, I'm spending my money. Making sure that me and my family make it through this tough time right now. So the way I used to do it, and me paying for myself to go out to camp, that may be out the window. They may have to reach into their pockets and help me out. But that's what you have a manager for. I mean, how else do you earn your percentage? Not just by sitting there picking up the phone. So I know that they never gave me a problem with helping me anyway if I ever needed them. But it's going to be a lot of fighters, and not just me and Split Feet, but it's going to be a whole bunch of other fighters on a bunch of different under a bunch of different banners are going to need help. And those managers, in order to keep those fighters happy, you're going to have to help them guys because they're not just going to have liquid money to go out and go do whatever they need. Some of them may need help right now. Some of them might have got a disconnection notice to the lights and stuff like that. Not that they can cut the lights off right now, but as soon as this is over with, you think them light company and them gas companies gonna wait to shut shit off? So me myself, I'm just making sure that I stay in touch with them, letting them know like, look, I want to fight. If y'all find any paid sparring, I definitely would take that ahead of just jumping into a fight. And I advise any other fighter to do that. Man, I think we're gonna see a lot of camps going on too, because everybody's gonna want to get ready, man. I think if all these fighters who want to fight get smart, take a flight to a certain place, a certain area, and just meet up, get you a hotel room, even if you spend a week, and man, you just have like these big mass sparring camps and stuff like that. That'd be beneficial, especially since a lot of guys are sitting at home. Like me, I go downstairs, I hop on the treadmill, and I got a sauna in my basement. I got a heavy bag and some weights and all that. So I get that little workout in, but you, nobody's catching my hand. You don't have another eye to catch the mistakes that you make, and it's a lot of stuff that you just don't have that you would have in the gym. I believe these managers are going to have to step up to the plate. It's going to be overtime for them. So they got not just us, but they got a job on them.
Good deal. Yeah, man, this is crazy, and that's kind of one thing that I mentioned on an earlier video. I don't know if it was a live or just on my. Oh, actually, it might have been the video that I was telling you about earlier, where I had some information about a way for fighters to get assistance. But this is definitely a time to reflect, or for fighters to step back and take a look. Going through this ordeal, like you said, who was these guys and individuals work for you guys. So taking stock in who reached out to me, who really proved their worth during that time, and maybe coming out of this thing, some people have to make some adjustments to who their business partners are or who their team is, because right now it's show and prove, and like I said, these guys work for you guys.
My point exactly. So, like with Split C, I received 2 letters, they're like email letters or whatever. They reached out when it first happened. They reached out before that, but they reached out via email. Like, to me, sometimes you got to go a little further with certain fighters, because some fighters may not care about that letter. They want to talk to you. They need to hear it out your mouth what's going on or what's on your mind. It can be hard, man. I mean, when you got them management teams, they got as many fighters as my management team do. You got to think you're gonna have a bunch of unhappy fighters. Some of them may feel the way that you just said.
Right.
And when it's time to show and prove that, oh, I'm here for you, I care about you. You're gonna have jealous fighters. Oh, I didn't get a call from you. Let you take one fighter say that, oh, he spoke to this guy, and there's another fighter who may be trying to get in touch with him and couldn't. Oh, he gonna get jealous. You never know how they look at it. So I could just see it being crazy. Now I'm gonna just try to be understanding. I'm gonna sit back, and I'm pretty much making a name for myself and doing a lot of stuff myself now. The fight that I was just offered, it didn't come directly through my management team, but when I talk to them, I'm gonna let them know and notify them that I was approached with it and allow them to do their job with the negotiations and everything of it. But I understand how many fighters they got, and me myself, I'm not the type of fighter that's gonna sit back and just let you just always represent everything that I do, because I know exactly what I want. So I'm gonna be hands-on with everything that has to do with Michael Moore, and I'll allow you to do your job. But if something's brought to me, I'm gonna investigate it first, and if I feel like it's something I want to go with, I put it in your hands and allow you to do your job, and hopefully you can seal the deal. But I'm not the one that's hurting you,
Right.
or going to be hurting once it's over with. Oh, you didn't get in contact with me, because I don't need you to get in contact with me. I know I'm making it happen for myself now. Once I feel like, oh, I need you for this, and I call you and I can't get you, and it's I've been calling for weeks. And I still can't get any help from you. Now we have a problem. Now I'm gonna feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, it is what it is. I'm cool.
Now you mentioned well, let's go back to that whole situation with the being on the contender and whatnot, and how it unfolded. You came out of that, like you mentioned, and had to have a procedure, to get back to 100% and whatnot. Do you think you've kind of Do you think that kind of the downtime maybe cost you in terms of picking up or capitalizing on any momentum gained from being on that show?
Uh, yeah, no. I think the show in general probably made it harder for us. Like, it put me out there more so as a tough fighter. So it's like not a like sometimes these guys are looking for people they can get a they can do away with. Long no matter what type of fight you put your fighter in there, which your fighter has the ability to knock this person out. So I believe that that's that made it hard for me not the downtime. So I wasn't down that long. I had my procedure in December. I want to say December. I want to say December 3rd or something like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember, but it was early December, and I was cleared by February.
Okay.
You know, so I lost out on a few months, but as far as fight time, uh, I've been looking for that bigger fight. And that's like to me. I felt like I paid my dues and I deserve one. Brandon Adams got a shot at the world title after that. You look at Alfonso Gomez, who made it to where I made it in the contender. Coming from the contender, he fought for, I want to believe they said like 500,000 for, 500, 750,000, something like that. And he made it to where I made it to. So I'm looking for one of those. I'm looking for that type of money. I feel like I deserve that type of money. I'm owed that type of money. So I don't feel like I lost out on the time. I believe more so the people I was dealing with. I was promised fight after fight after. Oh, you guys are gonna fight here. You guys are gonna fight here. You guys are gonna fight here. By the contender. When you fought on the contender, you sign with those guys. So I'm looking at them guys. I'm looking at them people like they're swearing up and down they got us fight. So you guys are gonna be fighting in Atlantic City. That's gonna be your fight home. I'm doing a deal with the casino. Oh, you guys want to fight in Texas, and they're swearing up and down we're fighting everywhere, and nothing's coming about. So we're training and we're doing all this rigorous training for nothing. So it came to a point to where I had to tell my management team like, get me out of this contract.
Wow. So, what's your thoughts? You see a guy like Hogan, come out of nowhere, you know, have a close fight with Munguia, and then come up and fight a Charlo, and seemingly kind of jump to the front of the line and whatnot. How do you sit with that?
I didn't respect it at all because I feel like they picked that shot. They picked that. I think that it's fighters like I was willing to go on that show, and believe it or not, the way that show worked, they might have advertised that show week after week, so it seemed like I fought a month after my first fight and all that. But those the that I fought Gerald Sorrell, which is the second fight, I fought Shane Mosley 2 days later. You get
Damn.
what I'm saying? So me with a torn bicep tendon and I'm hurt. I got to the dressing room and I cried with my wife and kids. I'm hurt. I had to turn around and fight 2 days later. Nathaniel Richardson, he knew that I was hurt. He pushed me in the corner knowing that I might be fighting Shane next, not to quit. I quit in the corner. Not to be happy about it, but that's how bad my shoulder was hurt. So I showed what I bring to the table or what I possess. And for a guy like Hogan to get the opportunity to fight some guys, not just make the money that he made, but the opportunities that he had, I feel like I was cheated. And all the other fighters that's out there and they're fighting for them top spots and stuff like that. And I don't even know who Hogan is to this day. Even after he fought Charlo. Not to say that, just because I don't know him, he's nobody. But what other TV boss have you had? Like, even just for that, like, I spent half a year on TV. I fought on TV before that in the Montino, even though I had a bad outcome on that one. But they got to remember, I'm there and I'm paying my dues. I took my L's and I came back from it. I felt like I showed enough to where been uh I should have been on that party. I mean, Brandon Adams had a fight with Charlo, and he took him into the final round, into the decision, and stood as tough as nails. You couldn't hurt him, you know. And I think that we deserve a shot like that too. Shit, like we showed that we ready, you know. We got nobody in the contender did me the way that they did anybody else. You know, so I felt like I earned a shot. Not just a contender, but just me being me. My name, you had a lot of people that wanted to see Mike Moore lose. So they'll pay to see that. I did my part. I sold myself to where I can sell tickets, and that's all they looking for, making money.
Gotcha. Yeah, man, I just realized it was a kid that I saw down in Cincinnati. He fought at super middleweight on a club show down there, but I'm seeing now that he's worked his way up to number three for the WBA, Carlos Monroe. So so I guess I'm just asking, do you think that with the balance of 2020 and getting into 2021, do you see a path for you to be able to crack into the top 15 of these sanctioning bodies, and to position yourself to get the opportunities that you're looking for?
Uh, I do, especially if this fight that I was just offered goes through like it's supposed to. That'll be the this will be the fight that I need because I'll get a chance to fight for one of those smaller titles that rank me, and you get get the notoriety that you need to get the fight to fight the guys for those higher rankings, the ranking spots. You get noticed once you get them smaller titles and the NABO titles and stuff like that, and that's what I'm looking for right now. Like I'm not gonna say that's all I'll take, but that's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking to fight Joe Blow, Glass Joe. I just don't see any point in that. So I think we'll get it. I'm just saying, I think we'll get it. I'm not even gonna think negatively. I know we'll get it.
What's your outlook? What's your outlook on middleweight, or just to confirm? Do you think that's where you'll settle back into? Is middleweight, and then kind of what's your outlook on the competition at that division?
I believe middleweight is come back. Like it took a dip, but the middleweight division is looking good right now. Uh, I'm not gonna even say it's that good because there's nobody really at middleweight right now. That you got Charlo there with that WBC title, but it's like to me there's no big major threat there right now. Like if you look at Lomachenko in his division, you know, how many people are you seeing Lomachenko that's saying, "Oh, I'm fighting Lomachenko next"? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's there's nobody in our division right now that people saying, "Oh, I'm not." They're not mentioning his name. You got Demetrius Andrade. He's calling out Charlo, and you haven't heard Charlo say, "Oh yeah, well we're gonna fight Andrade next," or make it happen. You get what I'm saying? So like I'm looking at these guys, and there's no big major threat like crawling them ropes. Like man, this guy can kill you. There's none of that right now. So I'm thinking that I can be the one to break that open. You know what I'm saying? I know what it's like to take that L, and I don't want to take another one. So that's something these fighters need to be worried about. You know, where you got a guy who just don't want to lose and won't lose, that's going to be a problem. And I believe that I'm gonna cause a problem for anybody. So I'm ready to get to it.
Got you. Yeah, I see. We know that Golovkin is looking for one or two more fights. Um, and this
I like that fight too.
and this has to be something, killing him, a guy that's kind of has an eye at the door already with him. I think he's about 37, 38 now, maybe. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I'm with you. It seems like the division is somewhat wide open, but the one thing that's kind of the monkey wrench in there, so to speak, is whatever Canelo Alvarez is doing because he's straddling, middleweight and super middleweight and maybe even light heavyweight, to a degree.
I think that I think Canelo's just playing like anywhere he can go and get the money. He's keeping his name buzzing by jumping weights like that, which is smart if you can handle it. But he may jump into the wrong person. You get what I'm saying? And he got to remember that too. I believe he's a different animal. But say a guy like Andre Ward was still around. Would that be the fight that Canelo wanted? Would he jump to 178 and say, "I'm gonna fight Andre Ward"? You get what I'm saying? So you gotta remember, people. I look at people look at Floyd. Floyd wasn't undefeated because he was just the smartest fighter. Floyd was undefeated. I mean, just the best fighter in the world. He was undefeated because he was smart too. He had certain smarts that wouldn't allow him to take them stupid losses, going to fight a killer every trip. You
Right.
know?
Yeah. And it's crazy. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at the WBC. Gabe Rosado is up there at number 11. Um, I see the Berlanga kid is top 15 in the WBO. So Jeff Horn is a top 15 guy in for the IBF. Michael Zarafa. So yeah, man, it's the Falcoa kid. Um, wow. Yeah, it just seems like the division is a little bit wide open, which that's why the Hogan fight for Charlo for me was such a was kind of an indictment in my opinion on where the division is that you could face a guy like Hogan and stop him in 5 or 7 rounds, whatever it was, and that was satisfying. Just like we got to do better with middleweight.
It's all about the money, man. People fail to realize boxing is politics. It's so political. People forget that Donald Trump used to be a promoter, a boxing promoter. Don't forget, Donald Trump was a boxing promoter. It's so political. So it's all about the money. If I had enough money, I can buy myself one of the top 10 slots. They give you a fight of somebody and they're gonna rank you in the top 10. So it's a lot of people never forget, man. It's all about the money in boxing. People hide money in boxing, man.
Right.
And those guys like that, they just may know somebody. They probably don't have anybody better to put in them spots right there. So they just got those guys sitting there waiting on somebody to come knock them off. Gabe has been going down for the longest, but he's still in the top 10, which means he still can get another payday. They know that he probably can't beat Charlo right now, but they'll give him another fight just so Charlo can have a fight and stay fresh.
Wow. Wow. So, well, look, man. Like I said, I appreciate you getting with me and rapping with me and whatnot, man. My heart is with a lot of you guys, man. Like I said, I talk to you guys and keep track of what's going on with quite a few people. When I get off of here, I am gonna send you that information because you know you guys need it's more than just watching you guys in the ring and yelling out who ducking who and who sucks. Like you said, it is very political. It's a lot of this stuff is it's a lot of layers to looking at all of this stuff, man. And it's unfortunate sometimes that people who don't know what they don't know jump out here on social media and bash certain fighters and demean a lot of y'all when they really don't know the full story of what's going on.
Right.
But
Thank you, because that means
oh, go ahead.
I say that means a lot too, because a lot of people, a lot of people not in the boxing. They watch it, so it's easy for you to judge. But until you in there and you have to deal with what we have to deal with, a lot of them not gonna understand it.
Definitely, definitely. Now you mentioned working out, getting, and it's dope to hear that you've invested as much as you have in your craft and put what you've put in your basement and whatnot. I salute you for that. Are you getting out doing any road work, man? I mean, I know the word is to stay in the house and whatnot, but if you're not doing road work, is there kind of like a window of time when you could get that back in, or reintroduce that back into your preparations?
I actually am doing road work. I go out and in the city. I mean, even though they say don't, but they say you can. They in our city they said you can go out for a jog. You know, they just don't want people gathered together. But I also have a treadmill in the
Oh yeah,
basement
yeah,
too.
you did mention that. You
So
did mention that.
yeah, so I make sure I get that in, man. I'm actually I'm actually in the process of doing juicing right now. I'm doing this juicing with the turmeric, the ginger, and the lime, and I'm just trying to get stay as healthy as possible and stay just ready, man. I don't want my body to be to where it's so bad off that I can't that I'm struggling to get ready for something once this is over with. Once this is over with, I want to leave. Like they lift this ban today. I want to leave for camp within the week. You get what I'm saying? I want to go and start getting ready because with the fight opportunities we got on the table for for June, he's saying that they're throwing that with no audience. So they're going to put that on regardless. I have to be ready for that too. So that's what I'm trying to do. Like once the country gets to moving, I'm gonna be ready.
Now, what's that platform? Can you share that? You said that one will be televised. What's that platform?
Uh, CBS, I believe,
Okay.
but I don't know what I'm supposed to say or not. So I don't want to say anything else like as far because I'm not sure if it's all the way set for them. You know. Uh, but it was pushed to me. But I'm gonna definitely give you the drop first thing I get. Like once everything is already written, I'm gonna definitely give you everything. Uh, but they said it wasn't gonna be televised. I mean, they said it's not gonna be an audience, but it's gonna be televised. So I'm just sitting there waiting now.
Now,
It was
how
also gonna be huh?
how would you approach that, man? I mean, are you comfortable with that? I know the last fight that we saw on Showbox, I think early March 13th or some March 10th around there. The card on Showbox from Hinkley, Minnesota. That one didn't have a crowd, but I mean, with all of the individuals for the production crew, the camera crew, and the on-air people, and then some of the team members that were allowed to be in the building. It was somewhat interesting, but did you take notice of that, or how would you approach fighting without a crowd?
I watched it. I watched. Matter of fact, I didn't watch that card. I watched. What was it? The UFC card. They had no audience. I think it was in Brazil, but no audience.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and to me, I look at it. I think that would actually be a more comfortable feeling for me. The crowd. I'm not gonna say the crowd gets to me because it don't. I like to be in front of people. I'm gonna show up, but it'll feel a little bit more like sparring. It'll be a lot easier. You don't have to. It'll be so easy to hear your corner and everything like that. It may be a little bit more comfortable. You know that your people gonna be watching from home, so they'll get a chance to see it. But the press. It won't be as much pressure, I believe. So I think that'd be good for me.
Now that's one thing that I was wondering because I saw something the other day. I don't know what I was watching, or a video or something, but the coach was yelling out some combinations or something. That kind of just struck me as a little weird because when a coach is calling that out, the other fighter is hearing it too. It was like double jab and something, but is it a chance for that other fighter to understand what you're trying to exploit, or the move that you're trying to pull off?
Uh, I believe that. Listen. I listen to other coaches when they say what they fight, and if I can hear your coach tell you to hook off the jab or something like that, I'm gonna make sure you can't hit me with the hook off the jab. So it's all about how you apply, how like once they give you instructions, how you apply it. But I think going into a situation like that, it'd be my job to make sure that my coach don't have to yell it out to me in the ring. You get the job right in the first place. That way he don't have to look for it and be calling it out to you and get you set up.
Wow, that's interesting. It could be like, it could be a moment where it's like football, where you go into the stadiums with the noise problems, and they have hand signals, and they work on different systems, to overcome that. So it could be an interesting wrinkle added to the sport of boxing that we're not familiar with.
It definitely will. Like I said, I'm just I just want to fight for the most part. So it don't, we can fight in the phone booth. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying to get it on.
Got you. Hey, well, man, any last words for anybody that might come across this live stream, man? I think you breaking up again, Mike.
I said I just want everybody to stay safe, and when they come across the live stream, just look at this time as a blessing, man. Use it as a time to spend with your family and come up with a plan for the future, man. A lot of people ain't been doing that, and I just hope everybody make a plan for the future.
Gotcha. Last question. I know you on the Contender and whatnot. You had a chance to kind of strike up a bit of a relationship with the Andre Ward. You mentioned him earlier. Have you had a chance to touch base with him at all going through this situation?
You know what? I actually haven't reached out to Andre. I talked to Andre right before this went on, so I think I'm glad you just brought that up. So now I can just reach out to him and make sure. You know what? No, I have. I texted Andre, and I told him that I texted him. I want to say about 2 weeks ago. I didn't receive a text back yet. I don't think so. Just hoping he okay. I seen it live. He been working out, so
Okay.
he's trying to make a comeback.
I just wondered because that was another person in this whole thing is some of the guys doing covering the sport and doing the commentary and whatnot. This is also an instance where they're not making money either. Like I mentioned earlier, it's crazy how it's all connected with cut men are now being affected. Nutritionists, chefs, sparring partners. Like it's just nobody is going through this thing not being affected.
Man, it's a lot of people not making money. I don't know. I mean, if we can apply for, they're out of work just like us. So I guess we got to figure it out somehow.
All right. Hey, well, I appreciate it, man. Take you and the family, stay safe, man. Let's get back together when this thing kicks back off, man. Let's definitely touch base, and I'm gonna wish you well on working through this thing.
Thanks a lot, man. You're doing the time. You stay safe as well.
All right, bro. Take care.
You too.
All right. I don't know why I hadn't checked back in with Mike Moore lately. I think I didn't get a chance to go up to Warren for that fight that he had. I can't remember why I didn't make it up there. When was that? Back in October. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, back in October of 2019. Something had to have been going on why I didn't go check that one out. Because I've been up for most of the. I've been up there to Detroit, in the Detroit area for most of the fights. I think I went to something else that week, but I can't recall what the hell it was. It's slipping my mind. But anyway, man, I just wanted to. just trying to go out here and touch base with fighters at different levels or different stages of their career and whatnot, and just see how these guys are working through it, man. It's excellent, or it's dope that Mike has a situation or is in a situation where he's made some wise decisions along the way to where he's not as he's not in a bad situation right now. But as this thing continues to go out, into multiple months, and who knows where it goes. Like he mentioned earlier, fights in May in around the May time. Well, yeah, May time frame have already come off the schedule. Some dates in June have already been moved and postponed and whatnot, especially the bigger fights. Joshua and Pulev, they pulled that one off. So it'll be interesting. But like he just mentioned, a potential fight without a crowd is on the table for him. So that's promising that somebody is working. Somebody's out there trying to time this thing right based on the information that we're given to work with, and plan such events and whatnot. And for him, at least that gives him something to train, to be working towards and to be ready for it. So that's pretty interesting. That new fight offers, are out there. So I'm not gonna try to keep. I'm not gonna try to stay on here unnecessarily long. But I did appreciate the opportunity to catch up with Mike and to see what's going on with him. I hadn't had a chance to talk with him, and that was 2018. That's how busy I've been and how busy he's been, I guess. But I see him online. I see him in chat rooms. I see him. He checks in on some of the lives that I do, on Instagram and whatnot. So we haven't done an interview, so to speak, but we have interacted, and that's that. Look, man, no answers. No normalcy is directly in sight. But we continue to work through this thing, man. I hope you're taking care of you and yours. And I did want to say, I know Mike spoke on a couple of things politically, and then with regards to the causes of this, or just the whole COVID-19 and whatnot. Those are his views. I don't necessarily agree or disagree. I just know that for me, I have certain situations in my household. My spouse, she has certain things with her health. I've mentioned it before. So I'm gonna go out here and act how I think what's in our best interest, because that's my wife, and that's my household. And so some of the different conspiracies that are out here, and some of the different things that the ideas and whatever that people want to run with, I don't have time to refute that or dispute that. Not to say that I necessarily disagree, or would tell Mike that's hogwash or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just taking in all the information that I'm coming across and making sure that, like I said, I take the steps for me, and I'm hopeful that people are paying attention and thinking through, because right now it's a lot of sources that are giving information or misinformation or partial information or intentionally twisted information and whatnot. And I don't want to contribute to that. So I'm just saying I don't have any stance on anything. Like I said, I would hope that you use your discernment, and any information that I just was sent something while I was talking to Mike. I was sent a video from a friend of my mother's, and I can just tell by the title that it's trash. It's nothing that I want to know. I don't want to watch that video, and I want to tell her that you should. Why do you scare yourself with this stuff? But so like I said, I just wanted to come back and clarify. Um, you need to put your family first, your health first, and move how you need to move. Uh, and then also, to back up all the way to the whole discussion with the glove situation on Fury. I mean, we've kind of beaten a dead horse on that one. Um, I hear what Mike is saying. I hear what others have said. Um, I saw some things that I had that were worth questioning, but I don't agree with the outcome of that fight, and if I don't see any movement from a Deontay Wilder in appealing that, or fouling anything, then I'm moving forward as it was a legit fight, and that's that. And without opening that whole can right there. Anyway, man, let me get on off of here, man. We're ahead of what, week number 4? Who would have thought that we would have gotten here, a few weeks ago, or last year? Who would have thought that you'd be, in this that we'd be in this situation a year ago? So that's about it, man. I'm on here rambling now. Hey, enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Although I know it's running together with the week, but it is what it is. Bite down boxing. Don't let them count you out. Pay me no mind. Sports and entertainment. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. One.